WrestleMania 18 with the tagline, the one and only. Yeah, and pretty much the one and only time that you will see these two wrestlers in here that pretty much stole the show, in my opinion, which you'll, even though it was pretty good, but you'll find out when I talk about it. So WrestleMania 18 was held on March 17th. A little bit of an early date. Usually they hold it in like late March or early April sometimes, but March 17th was just unusual. Well, not really, but we had an attendance of, this was actually more than the past WrestleMania, which was WrestleMania X7 or 17, an attendance of 68,237 fans, jam-packed to see the one and only match, which I will say, Icon versus Icon match, held at the Sky Dome in Toronto, which is now called the Rogers Center. The theme song as well, which was Tear Away by Drowning Pool, and Superstar, or Make Me a Superstar, by Saliva. Both of them are pretty good songs, and I'm sorry I did not mention the song for WrestleMania 17 as one of my favorites, and I'm just so disappointed I didn't mention it. And it was My Way by Limp Bizkit, a really good song, and I'm just disappointed I did not think of it. Alright, now here's what I'm going to do. With these matches on here, I'm going to review, or say like the people in here, what their reviews are. Like Slam Wrestling, John Palgam, and their reviews on the matches. So anyway, and then I'll say like my review or what I really think of it. Let's try it this way. Alright, so let's, and also it was brought to you by Skittles, the sour sweet treat. Oh, a little bit sour. Anyway, so we begin now with our Sunday Night Heat matchup, which is between Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty and Albert, who was replacing Grandmaster Sexay, who I think was out with an injury or he probably left. I don't know exactly. And they face the tag team of Mr. Perfect, first time we've seen him in like a while, Lance Storm and Test. You know, two of these guys have passed away, unfortunately. But Lance Storm, you know, he was a pretty good wrestler. You know, I didn't really watch him a lot, but he definitely was, you know, he was good. So anyway, and also we have Jacqueline as a special guest referee, which is unusual. But it was only 3 minutes. Rikishi, Sky Duati, and Albert, winners. Now we move on to the opener. First match. Hold on, see if I got light. Alright, it started with a live performance as well of Superstar, Make Me a Superstar by Saliva. And the first match of the night. Now, this guy had already opened it up last year, and that is William Regal. Again, the Intercontinental Champion defending his title against Rob Van Dam. I like to do that because I'm a big fan of him. Now, you know, this was not a bad opener too, but I kind of prefer the Chris Jericho and William Regal match better. But Rob Van Dam, you know, him against William Regal was good too. But he wins the match with a 5-star frog splash, that is the new, and wins his first time ever, first Intercontinental Championship. Very good opener. Next we have the European Championship match, where this time the champion is, yo, it's me, it's DDP. Bang! Diamond Dallas Page defending his title against Christian. Now, you remember, and also, forgive me for the fan being on, as I have to have this one. It just gets pretty hot up here, you know. It's a nice day out, too. It's pretty warm, so I have to have this on. So, I have to have this one. Anyway, now, Christian, who is from Toronto, I don't really know exactly the reaction he got. I didn't really pay attention to his entrance, just a match I did. But DDP winds up getting the win by giving him the diamond cutter. And everyone remembers back in the day when Christian used to throw like a temper back in the day when he would like be going like this and stuff, and JR would be like, no, 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 give that child a diaper. No, no. Yeah, he really hated that. I mean, this is alright. You know, just tired of it. Now, so there you go. DDP retains. Now we move on to the Hardcore Championship match, this was the last WrestleMania to feature a Hardcore Championship match, as they stopped them after that. They just stopped using the belt, which is the Hardcore Champion Maven, the guy who eliminated The Undertaker in the 2002 Royal Rumble, which was, it was pretty cool, but then he paid the price. Defending his title against Goldust, returning for the first time since the Royal Rumble of 2002. The match just ends with, it just says on here, then more people came out to the ring, which is Spike Dudley, and he pinned Maven and winds up being the new champion. Then here comes Crash Holly as well, who chased him. And now we're like going all the way backstage, but now we have a performance of Tearaway by Drowning Pool. And after they're done with that, I didn't really pay attention to that song because I like that other song they do, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. Yeah. And after that was done, we go backstage, and Crash Holly and Spike Dudley are continuing to fight. And here comes Al Snow driving a golf cart, along with referee Teddy Long as well. I thought it was funny because the way he was driving, and Teddy Long was like, watch out for them boxes, watch out, player, and then crashes right into him. And Jerry Lawler's like, look at that idiot. He must be drinking and driving. So, Spike, who's still the champion, fights off Crash. And after that, the Hurricane, Hurricane Helms or Gregory Helms, comes flying in on some kind of rope or whatever and just takes out Spike Dudley and then pins him just like that because it's under 24/7 rules, 24 hours, 7 days a week, it will be defended just like that. So the Hurricane's a new champion. He just goes away, and Al Snow just gets out of the boxes finally, and he's just like, where is he? Where the hell is he? Damn it! So, yeah. I miss the hardcore matches. Anyway, now that our fourth match, moving on, is Kurt Angle against Kane this time. The last time where we see Kurt Angle with hair before he lost it all at Judgment Day from being shaved by Edge, as you remember. Now, this was not a bad match, not as good as his match with Chris Benoit, but it was just all right. It wasn't really that much, but Kane tries to go for the choke slam, and Kurt Angle reverses it into a roll up and uses the ropes as leverage, where he used Chris Benoit's tights in the last one, but this one he uses the ropes, and again he wins. Big whoop. Alright, now we move on to this match. This was a pretty good match. And that is Ric Flair, taking on the 9-0 undefeated Undertaker in a no disqualification match. Now, the promo, I have to say this because this was actually pretty good. Undertaker, who was in the Royal Rumble, he got eliminated by Maven. Then I think he wound up losing his hardcore title to Maven after interference from The Rock as well. Then he had his match with The Rock at No Way Out, and then Ric Flair interfered, hit him with the pipe, and that's when Ric Flair was pushing the limits, and Undertaker wanted a match against him at WrestleMania, and I think he declined. Then the Undertaker pushes the limits and beats up his son David Flair, I believe, and wherever he's at. And just sends a message to Ric Flair, and that books the match. So, Undertaker enters with a Limp Bizkit theme rolling, which he still was using that time before he changed it to that one, You're Gonna Pay, but not the one where they sing it and go, You're gonna pay, you're gonna pay. You done it now, you done and made a big mistake. I kind of like that theme, better than the one without the lyrics. So, again, this was a good match as well. And I also forgot to mention he also beat up Arn Anderson, Ric Flair's friend, who was also in the thing, the Four Horsemen. So a lot of good moves in here, but later in the match, Arn Anderson comes out and winds up hitting a spine buster on The Undertaker, which looks like it's going to be the end of the match, as everybody's thinking that's going to do it, but The Undertaker kicks out, and then he hits Anderson, puts him in a sleeper. Then he hits a few shots on The Undertaker, but then hits a big boot on him, and then attempts to go for the last ride, but can't get it. But then he decides to do it the old school way and go with the tombstone, in which he does, and gets the win, and he increases his record to 10-0, which is a WrestleMania record. Well, not really, just a big accomplishment. And there you are. Now, next we have Edge taking on Booker T. It's just a regular single match. Toronto's own Edge taking on Booker T. And not really a whole lot to say about it. Just a match between these two pretty good wrestlers. But in the end, Edge just gets the win by using the execution, that like DDT maneuver instead of the spear. And that's it. But after that, we had a little backstage segment with the Hurricane being interviewed by Jonathan the Coachman. And Hurricane's sidekick, who we remember as Molly Holly, but in this time called Mighty Molly, which really didn't last that long, and tells him that there's like danger or whatever it is, and just as he's getting ready to go that way, and then she hits him in the back of the head with a frying pan and knocks him out, and she gets the pin on him 1, 2, 3, and for like the first time ever, she is the new women's hardcore champion, I think. Unless somebody else did it as well before her, I don't know, but she got the win, and JR was just like, what the? Jerry Lawler was like, what the hell? Yeah, it was funny. It was. And there you go. So now after that, we move on to the next match, which is between Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on NWO member Scott Hall, or Razor Ramon, along with Kevin Nash in his corner. Now, Stone Cold, who had met them, the NWO, at No Way Out 2002, winds up getting screwed by them as well, and, gets attacked by them, and then they spray paint the word NWO on his back, as you remember. And later after that, a lot of Stone Cold stunners that were hit by Stone Cold, but one time he stunned Scott Hall, and then he got interrupted by Kevin Nash, and Nash wound up getting banned from the ringside, I think. Then Nash, elbow dropped the second referee. I'm sorry. So then Nash was banned, and that leaves them back in there, and Stone Cold winds up getting 2 Stone Cold Stunners on Scott Hall. The first one, he's still standing up, but when you get the Stone Cold Stunner, you're supposed to drop down on your knees when it happens, but some superstars just do it like that and stand up on their knees, but I think that's kind of dangerous just because that could snap your neck, I think. But the second Stone Cold Stunner he gives him, it's just a big one, and he just goes right back and just falls right down, and JR is just like a WrestleMania stunner, but it was a funny stunner, but got the win like that, and much to everybody's delight, very good match. And now we move on to the next one, which is... This next match is a 4 corners elimination match for the WWF Tag Team Championship, featuring the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, along with Stacy Keibler as well, the APA Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw, and the WWF Tag Team Champions, Billy and Chuck. Billy Gunn and Chuck Palumbo. Yeah, I know everybody remembers that, but I kind of like their theme song. You know, even though it was gay, don't get me wrong, I'm not gay, but I just thought it was a pretty good theme song. You know, you look so good to me. I know, but still, in the end, you know, we saw a nice shot of Stacy Keibler's ass when she rolled up her skirt and tried to distract Jeff Hardy, but it did not work. He spanked her and then kissed her. Lucky guy. And still, in the end, I didn't really pay much attention to it, as I couldn't stand seeing Billy and Chuck wrestle, because I just couldn't stand it. I really could not. But they retained their titles, unfortunately. Alright, and now we move on to the next one, which is this. The Icon versus Icon match for, no, it's not for a championship, the first time ever. And that is the return of Hulk Hogan, the first time since WrestleMania 9, now under his gimmick Hollywood Hogan, taking on The Rock. Icon versus Icon, as I said. So, here we go. Now, both of these superstars, well, I mean, in this one, Hulk Hogan, I'm just going to call him that, not Hollywood, because Hulk Hogan was pretty much a heel in this one, but he got a pretty good pop from the crowd, because it was the first WrestleMania that he had been at. Well, WrestleMania 6, which is at the Sky Dome, where he faced the Ultimate Warrior, which is a great match. He was in the main event, but this was not the main event, as everybody knows. But he made a very good entrance using his NWO theme, but got a great response from the crowd. A lot of people were cheering him. I didn't really hear a lot of boos. I know there were some, but The Rock pretty much got about 70% of boos and 30% of cheer, but he got more boos and cheers than it was. Everybody really wanted to see Hulk Hogan win. But let's just get into it. The Rock gives him like a I think he gives him the rock bottom, goes for the pin, but Hulk Hogan kicks out, and he's hulking up for the first time ever in like a while, which everybody is happy to see. Then he goes for like a punch on him, and nothing happens. He's still hulking up. Then he punches him again, and Hulk Hogan does the point, and which everybody knows, what you gonna do, brother? So he attempts to go for that smack or whatever, like when he spits his hand or whatever, or like goes like that, and then that's when Hogan punches him and gives him the big boot, and we know what's coming, the leg drop, and here it comes, and he gives it to him, and everybody is on their feet, because it looks like that is going to be the end of the match. But is it? No. The Rock kicks out at 2. Unbelievable. I mean, because I remember seeing this on pay-per-view, and I really thought Hogan was going to get it, because that's like it was going to be the end. But still, he attempts to give him one more, but he misses it. The Rock moves out of the way, and then The Rock just gives him like the rock bottom, and then just gives him the people's elbow, and that's the end of the match. I mean, it was still a good match, but I really think that Hogan should have won. He really should have. As I was pretty disappointed. I wanted to see him win for the first time in a while, and it did not happen. But after the match, Hulk Hogan just puts out his hand for respect, which The Rock accepts. But here come Nash and Hall, and they wind up just turning heel. Well, they are heels, but just wind up beating up him, and The Rock returns back and beats them up. And Hulk Hogan and The Rock pose together, and that turns Hogan face in the process for the first time since returning to the company. And that's it. And now for the next one, this one should have really been like after the Kurt Angle and Kane match or whatever, or a few others. There should have been a Sunday Night Heat match. Well, actually, no, it's for the Women's Championship. It's the Women's Championship match, a triple threat match between the champion Jazz. You remember her? Used to be like Teddy Long back in the day. I didn't really care for her that much. Against Trish Stratus and Lita. And just getting this out of the way really quickly, Jazz wins. Plain as that. And it was in Trish's hometown, Toronto, and did not win. And now we just move on to the main event, finally, which is the undisputed championship match between the undisputed champion Chris Jericho alongside with Stephanie McMahon Helmsley, very unlikely, taking on the winner of the 2002 Royal Rumble, Triple H. And for Triple H's entrance, Triple H had Drowning Pool perform their version of the theme song, The Game. Now, don't get me wrong or anything, but I kind of like Drowning Pool's version of The Game. You know, the lyrics are different than Motorhead's version, but I know people will prefer Motorhead's version better. But I like Drowning Pool's version. But I will admit, I like Motorhead's version of King of Kings, that song they do, you know, bow down to the king. I like that version. I like the fact that Triple H was using that on an episode of Raw, like a few times, you know, with that thing that they're doing, the whatever that faction or whatever that I don't even know. Hold on, just having like a message on Skype here. Let me check this real quick. Alright, I'm just answering a message real quick and we'll get back in just a minute. Alright, excuse me. So anyway, just to cut to the chase real quick, Triple H gets the win after Jericho tried to reverse and do a moonsault or whatever off the rope. Triple H kicks him and gets the pedigree on him and also gave the pedigree to Stephanie, thank God. Yep. And Triple H is the new undisputed champion. Surprisingly, get a pretty big pop from the crowd, even though despite Chris Jericho being from Canada, but it still was pretty good. Good matchup. So now just to cut to the end, as I gotta get on a Skype call. Now, Slam Wrestling rates this as 7 out of 10. Says it was a lower rating than the previous one. Now let's just do. Alright, the Rob Van Dam and William Regal match, I give this a 6.5. And he doesn't have like a review for that. I don't think he does. No. Diamond Dallas Page and Christian, I give this a 4 just because I thought Christian would get it because it's in his hometown. Maven and Goldust, well, it went to a no contest, but in the end, I forgot to mention, well, Christian got the win by pinning Molly Holly because she was trying to run away, and he did that to her. And then later, Maven gets the title back by pinning Christian when he attempted to leave in a cab. So no review for that. Kurt Angle and Kane, I didn't see like this person's review of it. I really don't, but I'm just going to give this a 5 just because the way Kurt Angle won. Undertaker and Ric Flair, I give this an 8 because it was good. Battle between two legends. Edge and Booker T, I just give it a 4.5. It was just nothing. No comment. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Scott Hall, I give this a 7 because I like the stunner that he gave to him at the end. Billy and Chuck win their titles. I just give this a 3.5 because disappointed they won. The Rock and Hogan, I give this an 8, but wanted Hogan to win because it would have been a little bit better. Jazz and Trish Stratus and Lita, 3.5. And Triple H versus Chris Jericho, I give this a 7.5. It was good. And that's my review of WrestleMania 18. Hope you all enjoyed. I will see you on more videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Goodbye.